All right, ladies and gentlemen and programmers, we're going to do lesson one, part three, or 1.3. Um, so make sure you're saving your work. If you don't have your work saved in your folder with your name on it, that's bad. And then depending on the year, we're either saving on our folder with our name on it, and some years by this point, we're also saving on the flash drives. So you should always have a main copy and then a backup copy of things that you back up regularly. So make sure if you don't know how to save stuff, you ask me about saving stuff. The other thing I need to check on is, do you have a nice spot in your binder to keep your notes and handouts? If you do, that's good. If not, that's going to cause you a lot of problems in the future. So make sure you have a good place to save your notes. All right. So if you right-click on the Wombat, you have this list of methods. So the methods are commands or questions that a class knows how to do. So I just have this down here. Make sure you understand this. If you don't understand this, ask me a question. Now, we haven't said this, but whenever you right-click on this, you get this list. This is called the method signature. Okay, it tells you a couple of things. It tells you if it's void or not void. So this one happens to be a command, not a question. The name is set direction, and this one has a parameter list. You have to give it an integer to tell it the direction that you want it to set the direction to. Okay, so all that put together is called the method signature. Write this down. A method signature. Write that down on. That's the handout. So write that down on the handout, and then hit pause, and then we'll continue on. All right, place a wombat in a good number of leaves in the world, and then invoke the wombat's act method several times. Step by step, what does the act method do? How does it differ than the move method? So let's see what this looks like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit reset, and I'm going to add a wombat, and I'm going to add some leaves. I'm going to hit shift so I can add a good number of leaves around. Okay, so if I right click on him and I say move, what's the difference between move and versus act, right? And you're going to have to do it a bunch of times to kind of figure out the difference. And if you get on top of a leaf, you have to tell it, oh, I want to go with the wombat act. So so the question is, step by step, what do you think the act method does? And again, thinking about the peanut butter and jelly and robot chair door wall very clearly, what does the act method do step by step? Number one, number two, number three. See if you can figure it out. And then what's the difference between the act method and the move method? All right, now place two wombats and a good number of leaves in the world, and then click the act button. This is different. So let's click on the act button. So we're going to add another wombat, okay, and we're going to click on the act button. Now what's the difference between the act method and the act button? Okay, so tell me that. So what's the difference between clicking the act button and right clicking and invoking the act method? And then finally, what does the run button do? If I click this button, what does it do? And if you can't answer those questions, ask me. Make sure you answer this on your lined paper notes. Okay, so if you want to find out some stuff about a scenario, you can go scenario information, and this says, hey, this was written by Michael Kohlig, and there's a book called Greenfoot, Introduction to Programming with Greenfoot. There's a book that this is all based off of, and it just tells you some stuff. Okay, so you can get some information on your scenario that way. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to go to your project, and I want you to right-click. So we can right-click on an object of the Wombat class, and we can get it to do stuff. What happens if I right-click on the world? And let's hit reset. And if I right-click, and I can say populate world or void random leaves, what happens when I click on those things? Okay. All right, and then next, you can right click on your wombat and you can say set image. Oops, I missed it. Right click on wombat and you can say set image, and you can like say, oh, I want it to look like this, and click OK. And then when you put a new wombat in the world, all of a sudden it has a new picture. So go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, and then now I want you to do this. Can an instance of Wombat World execute methods? How do you know? What is this called? This stuff right here. So these are all commands or questions that a class knows how to do. What are these called? What is this called? So this is a description that gives me the return type, the name of the method, and it gives me its parameter list. What is that whole description called? And that's it. We're going to move on to asteroids.